You know the drill. Check out Kemi's Bandcamp. What else more do I gotta say? The music's playing. You like it. Support her. It's not super expensive and she's always doing sales, so go check her out. But today, we're continuing more Great Ace Attorneys, starting case 5. Alright, cool. The Hound of the Baskerville. The adventure of the unspeakable soul. It's coming. Holmes' cry pierced through the thick wall of fog around us. Wisps of vapor flowed over the pistol as I cocked it and I waited breathlessly in the stillness. The silence lasted for what seemed to be an eternity until at last it appeared. From the shadows of the cloud, an enormous beast sprang out upon us. A hound it was, but not such a hound as any mortal has ever seen. Its eyes glowed with a smoldering glare, the whole of its ox-sized body outlined in white, and I didn't see that. Its rumbling pant and hideous howl so terrified that I began to tremble with fear. Look well, Wilson, Holmes declared. Well, it's Lily Watson, but anyway. For this is the diabolical Hound of the Baskervilles. I missed some text, obviously. Lionel Hutt's still best attorney? No. Our first 2 months in London passed by in a flash. Don't you know best attorney is still... Let me see. Hold on. Let me fix this a little bit. Lionel has never lost a case. He's S tier. Hey. Listen here. You want an alcohol swilling yellow man. I had to remember his hairstyle. What was his hairstyle? With... I don't even know how to describe this man's hairstyle. Like, he looks like a typical grunt in Simpsons. Okay? Alright, you know what? I'll give it to you. He's S tier. S for shit tier, bro. And that disconcerting courtroom arrived, we were first thrown in to the day we arrived. Oh, wait, no. In that disconcerting courtroom experience we were first thrown into on the day we arrived in the country. Why is this? Like, always doing this. So let me fix this. I'm gonna adjust the camera just a tad. I think the camera's too heavy for the thing sometimes, so it's like it angles just a tad. And in Soseki-san's terrible ordeal that had followed closely behind, we had emerged victorious. However, there came an abrupt end to our opportunities to appear in court, which was hardly surprising, of course, since I was nothing more than an amateur, an unknown student of law from a faraway land. So life in our little office was very quiet. That is, until it was shattered one day by that fateful telegram. Let me see your S-tier skills in this game. Bro, my skills are merely that of Naruhodos and any other player that plays this game. We just read the shit and take a gander and either put some common sense to it or a major guess, and we get there. Do I have the Pokezard emote? Let me see. I do, because I have Prime. Okay. Knock, knock, knock. Hey, look, we have a desk now. We have 2 desks now. And a bunch of books. So one's more tidy than the other. We can tell whose desk is whose. And, of course, there's a kettle on top of the furnace. That morning, I was woken by the unreserved knocking on the door by the telegram boy. But after he'd gone, Susato-san's behavior became very obviously strange. Susato-san? Yes! Is it time to leave for court already? Let me see, what case is it today? I don't think I'm scheduled to defend anyone at the moment, am I? Oh, no, of course not. How silly of me. But I think Iris said she would make us breakfast this morning. So shall we go down to Mr. Holmes' suite? Yes! Iris makes the most delicious breakfast food. She does, doesn't she? Orlin, what are you doing on today? Once our bellies are full, we can leave for court and fighting fit form. No, we're not getting a case. Let me see, what case is it today? Here we go again. The telegram. So what was it about? The telegram that was delivered this morning, I mean. Looking at some mods for Iceborne. Oh no. Oh, a telegram? I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry, but you're not going to get away with that. Well, I didn't think I would. Actually, don't give it a moment's thought. It's nothing. Nothing interesting. Boring, in fact. Ahem. It was just a boring old telegram. Give me the damn telegram. That's 3 times now she's tried and failed to convince me it was nothing. I promise that I'll tell you about it at some point. Alright, I understand. Would add all new quests and monsters so it won't interrupt the regular game, more like an expansion. What the fuck? They did that? For the PC version? Jesus, I wonder who put in the effort. I need a 3rd monitor, I swear. But I need a bigger desk first, and I need to figure out room. I also need a shelf, like an actual plastic shelving for cards stuff now, which is getting out of control. I need an expansion to my room, that's what I need. You know, maybe if expanding the walls to make this bigger was as easy as it was in an MMO, or an RPG, or like Animal Crossing. I suppose Soseki-san will have arrived back in Japan by now, won't he? Yes, I should think so. Sell your stuff. I do sell my stuff, but I still have a lot left over. It's bulk cards. Even if I just keep places the things that I would play, there's still a lot of bulk that can't sell because no one buys bulk rare, like bulk commons and uncommons. He left immediately after that terrible ordeal. Which would mean he should have completed the voyage already, or just be a few days away. Even with trading playsets and stuff and selling extra rares and stuff, I'm still left with a lot of bulk. And that's like the biggest problem really now. A fortnight ago we had that very long telegram from him. Do you remember? Complaining of seasickness? But by and large it seems the voyage has been going well. Is something wrong, Naruhodo-san? I was just wondering, what might have become of Soseki-san had he stayed in London, that's all. You mean, as regards to Lord Van Zeeks, the Reaper? Yes. I can't help wondering if seasickness would have paled into insignificance in that case. Orlin, you have just as less room as I do. You have a lot of games. In fact, your shit takes up a lot more room than mine, probably. But then I have more figures and Gunpla. So... what is it they say? That no one who stands in the dock can be saved from the Reaper, right? Like the way the nightmarish trial ended on the very day we arrived in London. Shh, my wife can hear you. No shit, she can hear me. But she doesn't need to hear me. She can see your games. You mean to tell me she doesn't tell you to sell this shit? Even 2 months on, the cause of that dreadful fire is still a mystery. Or tell you to get a bigger place? Yes, but at least Soseki-san is safely out of the country now. Presumably that means that the Curse of the Reaper can only take effect within the confines of the city of London, perhaps. Even if that's the case, it's little comfort. I have a terrible sense of foreboding. If the legend of the Reaper is to be believed, it would mean he wields a sword of justice for himself. Yeah, I want my own streaming room. I do too! Like, see, what I need is, I need this room to be turned into a streaming room and just literally remove, like, the sleeping furniture and just move into a different room so I sleep in a different room, if possible. As well as my clothes too, I guess, and then turn that closet into storage too. For games and figures and stuff. And then just keep this table here for card game stuff, or bring it into the other room and use as a table for a laptop. At which point there would be so much more room to move things around and put things. Come to think of it, I wonder what he's been up to these past 2 months. Surely not wielding the sword against more acquitted defendants. No, I don't think so. Orlin, why don't you just, like, if you're gonna eventually have where to buy your own house so you can have a third room or a fourth room, whatever, to use as streaming room. One for your daughter, and then one room for you to and your wife to sleep in, and then, you know, an extra room for, like, a guest room until you have another kid or something. I don't know. Apparently Lord Van Zieks hasn't appeared in court once since our last encounter. Oh? Yes, since Soseki-san's trial, he's withdrawn from the judicial service again, it seems. Really? Just like before, when he wasn't seen in court at all for several years. So it's just been me who's had to face him in his recent spate of trials then. Ugh, just my luck. Maybe do like those steamers and rent... You mean streamers? And rent a place with scrimmage and others? No, we would have to buy a house, sir. For something like that. And then we'd have to make sure the house is well equipped with... Each room has its own bathroom, so it's like a master bathroom. I mean, master bedroom, sorry. And then, in and of itself, you know, and each of those rooms will be the streamer's bedroom plus stream room. And then if I ever want to stream with Scrimmage, just walk across the house. That's like $5,000 a month, right? Probably fucking more, dude. Those places are huge. Those places got like usually 3 floors minimum plus a not counting if they have a basement, so that's a 4th floor. And then there's like, you know, freaking a giant ass kitchen, giant ass living room, and an extra area for like a TV room or a den or something. And then there's the basement. There's another kitchen in one of the floors, usually also like close to the basement area. Oh, quote unquote basement, but then it's not a basement because it's just a giant ass underground area that's like another living area with a kitchen. And then there's like freaking extra rooms and stuff. There's like 5 or 6 rooms, maybe 7 rooms sometimes, and each of them has a bathroom. On top of that, figuring out internet would be a bitch. Because you gotta figure out a good central point for the internet and then wire Ethernet cables to every room that needs one. Or make sure that those rooms have dedicated ports, and then you gotta turn those ports live and have an actual like network room. Wonder if if luck doesn't come into it. So you need a house with 5 rooms and Google Fiber. No, Because Google Fiber doesn't get offered down here in SoCal. In places with houses that big, they'd only offer Spectrum, which has fiber, but Spectrum sucks. Like, in terms of stability, like, Spectrum goes down a lot and has issues. So we need a place with either Verizon Fios or, like, Frontier Fios. Since those are, like, the two companies I know that offers decent connectivity for fiber. Sorry, what was that? Oh no, nothing, never mind. Need to see trophies here. Oh, well, that trophy's by accolades, I guess. Case 5. Spring and the weather's warming out. Spring is last, and the weather's warming out, but I love the smell of the fire and the steam rising from the kettle. Oh, you'd like some tea, Naruhodo-san? Thank you, Sasada-san, but I'm alright for now. With the green tea Sasada-san makes me from time to time, and Iris's unique herbal infusions, this place is paradise for a true tea lover. Green tea is such a wonderful accompaniment to British tea cakes, don't you think? Orland, we're not gonna get a house like that. We can't afford that. Not just me and Scrimmage. We would need a lot. We would need a lot more people. And then we need someone to run the damn place. And then we had to make sure that, you know, us, like, everybody can pay their share too. So that means, like, we're all working, and that means less streaming and less content from the house. We're not Offline TV where they were successful with it, you know? Or like any of the Offline TV's friends. So this is a tea set that Sasada-san brought with her from Japan. Let's hope she hasn't noticed me slipping sugar and milk into my cup when she makes it. It's just so bitter. Tea is a drink to be enjoyed now, Naruhodo-san. You really don't have to force yourself to drink it, you know. I don't like to see you screw up your face, so. Is Offline TV still doing that? Yes, they are. They move I think they change because the lease comes up every year. They tend to move almost every year or so, or every other year at the very least. I've only been here in London for about 2 months, but my desk is starting to look a little messy already. You can tidy up once in a while. Sasada-san, I always say, making a mess is a small sacrifice to pay for being able to further your studies. And time spent tidying up is time you can't devote to the same cause. And time spent on ridiculous arguments is time that could be better spent on simple housework. She wins. But I suppose I'm supposed to be a lawyer here. Yeah, well. This must be the telegram. Let's see. Ah! No! You mustn't look at that. Not under any circumstance. Alright, I won't. I'm so sorry, Naruhodo-san, but you can be very mischievous at times. Then put the telegram away if you don't want people looking at it. Why do we have a shovel? That spade has been in here since we started renting the place. Oh, that's not a spade, Naruhodo-san. It's a shovel. No, shovels are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It's a spade. No, spades are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It's a shovel. I don't want to dig a hole for myself, so let's leave it. You know, I've never seen I've never seen inside your room there, Suzawa-san. I've never even peeped inside. I should think so, too. A young maiden's private chamber is a place of bittersweet secrets, you know. Whatever you say, young maiden. We were rather lucky to find that old aquarium left behind here. The prawns we put in there are doing rather well, and the anemone is too. It's a wonderful invention, isn't it? The sea behind glass inside your room. And by the way, the current house offline TV's in is one they hadn't been in before. Before they kept moving back between like 2 or 3 same ones. Another example of Great Britain's greatness. Having to clean it out and change the water isn't so great though, is it? It means a great deal to me, you know. That you share his armband so and wear it each time you appear in court. Well, it's very important to me. It's what shows that I'm a lawyer, and whenever I wear it, I feel as though it gives me strength through Cosmo. I absolutely can't be without it, especially when I'm at a critical point in the trial. But just the other day, I noticed you wearing it when we went to visit that park. Sometimes I forget to take it off. Holmes' suite. I need to examine the fireplace. Morning, Runo. Morning, Susie. Good morning, Iris. Iris. What is it, Runo? What is that terrible noise? It sounds like a cat being strangled. Ah, yes, you noticed that, did you? Surely isn't in the best form this morning, it seems. Hello. The hell, Sherlock? Hello, Mr. Holmes. Good morning. A good morning to die, perhaps. What indeed? Has something happened, Mr. Holmes? You look miserable, and the way you were playing the violin before. Humph. My analytical mind is dead. Music is dead. The world is dead. Whoa! Damn this blanched existence. That's all it is, my dear fellow. Nothing of consequence. I'm afraid I don't understand. Well, Iris, isn't it time we ate? Some dry toast and insipid coffee for me, if it's not too much trouble. Oh. A cat! Oh look, it's Wagahai. What? They... Hold on. Let me make sure my thinking is correct here. That's literally, yes, that's literally my yes. That's what Wagahai would be if you directly read it, but there's probably another term for it. I'm like trying to think of it and I can't think of it. But it's basically my, yes, my thing, I don't know. Good morning, boy. Meow. That must be some sort of tiny door for cats to use. But how did it get there? Well then, everyone, time for breakfast. Oh, wonderful! Let me help you, Iris. Ugh, it would indeed be a fine day to die. Ah, I knew something looked different. Something's missing from Mr. Holmes' desk. Fire is burning comfortably in the grate again today. It's a very different feeling to a Japanese hibachi somehow. Oh, look at that photographic print of a lady displayed on the mantelpiece. Could it be? Yes, it must be. It's the woman. Oh, how exciting. Is that supposed to mean something to me? Well, got high. Mr. Natsume's cat seems to have settled into his new home then. Oh yes, and I've become very attached to little Wagi. It would appear his previous owner is completely forgotten to him. Cats are unfeeling creatures. They muse as empty as the hearts of the muses. If Mr. Natsume had no intention of taking Wagi back to Japan, I wonder why he kept him in the first place. I expect he would have taken him if he could. Pets are strictly forbidden aboard steamships in our experience. And for good reason. Terrible things can happen if the rules of passage are not obeyed. Well, I don't mind, because Wagi is adorable. Yes, he really is. Oh yes, what about the door? I don't remember seeing that tiny thingy in the main door before. Where did that come from? Oh, you noticed. You're observant, Runo. Look. I used my latest invention. What is that? I call it the cat flapomat. Oh gosh, a machine for making doors just for cats? That's right. It can make a cat flap for a little furry friend like Wagi in seconds. And it can do it in any door at all. No matter what it's made of. It's very powerful, you see. Wouldn't it have been quicker to just make the cat flap rather than making the machine to make the cat flap? Yeah, well, yes, maybe, but now I can make cat flaps anywhere I like. She pouted over that. Oh, I think it's wonderful. You must make one for us in the door of our office upstairs, Iris. She really knows how to come up with unconventional inventions, this girl. Hehehe. Wanting to die. You seem to be unhappy this morning, Mr. Holmes. What happened? It used to be the case that in my hands, this violin sung like the dawn chorus. Its dissonant tones would make flowers bloom. It would. But now, the muses are unamused with me. The goddess of music have thrown me over. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Holmes? For hours I have bowed, for days, even through the night I have endured, to no avail. That sound, my tone, is lost. That brilliant, unclear, unwavering tone, gone forever. No more recitals of unbridled emotion. Well, you haven't been practicing much lately, have you, surely? Don't worry, I'm sure it'll come back to you in time. Heed my words, Mr. Naruhodo. The goddesses of art are fickle. One day they bestow genius on a man, the next they unmercifully withdraw it. Oh dear. Ugh, why is this happening to me? If you take the turn I have for the violin from me, what is left, for pity's sake? What is left? Deduction perhaps? Isn't that what you're known for? Missing machine. Mr. Holmes, I don't like to pry, but your desk looks rather empty today. Ah, well done, Mrs. Tuttle. Your observational skills do you credit. Oh no, Mr. Holmes. They pale into insignificance when compared to yours. You'd struggle not to notice, wouldn't you? You mean Shirley's great analytoscope? That's at Windy Banks now. Sorry, it's at a Windy Bank? No, Windy Banks, the pawnbrokery. Pawn... what? You mean you pawned the enormous machine of yours? It has some considerable value, you see, quite undeservingly. But is it a very important machine for your work? I do wish you consulted us if your situation had become so desperate. I should have gladly passed what little income I have to you. Dear Madame, things are far from desperate. But But the pawnbroker has your wonderful machine. How can it be anything but desperate? Making use of a pawnbroker is quite ordinary here in London, I assure you. It is? That doesn't sound ordinary at all. It would seem that neither of you fully understand how pawnbroking works. Oh. What's to understand exactly? How pawnbroking works. What did you mean when we said we didn't fully understand how pawnbroking works? To the people of London, pawnbrokers are akin to banks. Banks? On Mondays, merchants relinquish their finest jackets and trappings to a pawnbroker of choice. With the money they receive in return, they are able to trade happily through the week. Then on Saturdays, they go recover their things using the money they've earned. I had no idea. This has been a fascinating lesson for us. Everyone does it, you see, especially people in inner London. And should they have money to spare, they would purchase another fine jacket. Not to wear, obviously, but to pawn, should the need arise. Oh, how ingenious. So whenever we have something that's getting in the way, we leave it at Windy Banks, you see? A pawnbroker can be thought of as an extremely secure vault. Who would have thought that even the pawnbrokers are different here in Great Britain? Of course, you have to watch it with Shirley. Sometimes he pawns things he really shouldn't. Don't you, Shirley? What does it matter? The world is dead to me now. Meow. Oh, what was that? Wagga high? Clatter, clatter, screech. What was that? Oh no. Wagga high is tangled up in your violin. I think it's a toy. No, what's he doing to it? Oh dear, Mr. Holmes' precious violin. What should I care? What? I shouldn't be surprised. The cat is a more accomplished musician than I now. Mr. Holmes really in poor spirits, isn't he? Well, anyway, I'll put it back where it lives, shall I? Really? I'll catch its reach if possible. Maybe we should assess the damage. So this is a violin, is it? It's a Stradivarius, one of the finest violins in the world, made by the renowned Italian luthier Antonio Stradivari. Oh, I see. It doesn't really look like anything special to me. I happened upon it, covered in dust, languishing in a pawn shop down a nondescript back alley. The broker had no idea of its value, so I was able to purchase it for a mere 55 shillings. How honorable of you. And until today, it's been my faithful companion in every great Paganini-inspired performance I have made. I ask you, is there a reason to live in a world devoid of music? To tolerate this blanched existence? No! There is none! Oh boy. Mr. Holmes? What, dear madam, what? My thoughts are preoccupied with fancies of release from this dull routine. Well, it's about the violin. It looks very different to normal. Don't you think? Hmm? What do you mean, Mr. Sato? Oh, Susie's right. The tone of the wood is completely different. I'm sure there was no crack here before. Wait. It's not even the right size, is it? What's this? Terry, sorry to tell you this, Mr. Holmes, but that instrument isn't a violin at all. Then what? I believe it's an entirely different instrument called a viola. Viola. What? What? Oh, Mr. Holmes, are you all right? You're right. You're quite right. This isn't my faithful Stradivarius. So what, pray, is this piece of stringed flotsam? Not your faithful performing partner, then. Ah, I see what must have happened. You do, Iris? This is just a simple mix-up. Sounds like Iris might be able to tell us exactly what's happened if we ask her. What did you mean by a mix-up, Iris? Well, you see, this viola, I mean, was at Wendy's Banks until last week. Ah, at the pawnbrokers. Not Mr. Holmes' beloved musical partner. There's a proverb from the East with which you are no doubt familiar, my dear fellows. Always let a beloved child travel. Yes, indeed. So you sent your beloved violin to the pawnbrokers in hope that it would experience personal growth. Oh, what a wonderful idea. Last week I pawned my great litoscope in order to release my precious instrument. But it would appear my Windy Bank mistakenly furnished me with this. It would appear Mr. Windy Bank mistakenly furnished me with this tawdry fiddle instead. But my ears cannot be deceived by the hollow timbre of this piece of timber. No, but your every sense was deceived by the fact that it just had strings. Pshaw! A fine state of affairs this is, and why I always say Mr. Naruhodo. Never trust a pawnbroker, they will try to fiddle you every time. But earlier you told us you could think of a pawnbroker as an extremely secure vault. Come, Mr. Naruhodo, dilly-dallying will get you nowhere. Sorry? Crunching your toast with that vacant aspect, freshing your coffee so obtusely. Are you not a little embarrassed by your own conduct, considering the urgency with which we are faced? We must visit Mr. Windy Bank's brokery at once. That's right, isn't it, Mr. Holmes? Precisely, Mr. Sato. Without a moment's delay! But I haven't finished my bacon and eggs! My dear fellow, surely you do not still intend to crunch your bacon with an increasingly vacant aspect, to fresh your egg ever more obtusely. Alright, say no more, let's go then. Don't worry, Bruno, I'd be happy to heat it up for you again later. Oh, thank you, Iris. As it happens, I'm rather curious to see what British pawnbrokers looks like. Iris' beautiful tea set is there on the table as usual. A cup of one of her special horrible blends always helps me to relax when I'm feeling the strain. The English pastime of tea has many similarities but our own tea ceremony customs, don't you think? It's the idea of hospitality behind it. That's the essence of tea! This is where Iris notes down ideas, isn't it? Let's see, what does it say today? Ah, the Boscombe Valley Mystery. Oh, how intriguing. It must be the title of Iris' latest work. Oh my. I wonder what fantastic tale awaits us. Suzanne looks like an angel, but I bet she's dreaming of the most unsavory crime you can imagine. That's a charming little white shelf, full of charming little bottles too, but the contents of them are quite so charming, it seems. Science is the future, Mr. Naruhodo. You can't deny it. I'm saving my money so that I can buy some chemistry apparatus as well. Law, chemistry, takedown throws, what diverse skills you boast, Susato-san. But Mr. Susato, as useful as they are, I'm not sure that my throwing skills are worthy of inclusion in that list. Come to think of it, I haven't seen Iris doing much writing recently. But there's a paper already set up in the typewriter. Look as if she's about to start. That reminds me, when I mentioned that Iris was in the process of writing a full-fledged novel, Mr. Natsume was most impressed. Yes, Mr. Natsume. That's what I'll be doing once I'm back in Japan, he said, through tightly clenched fists and teeth. These are all mementos of Mr. Holmes' past cases, I think. If he'd been involved in my case, I wonder if the beef steak from La Carnival would be on display here. A mystery shoe, a curious hammer, some mysterious dancing men, a bust of Napoleon. Ah, what an entrancing collection! It looks like an untidy assortment of junk to me rather than like what's on my own shelves. Well, you really ought to learn to keep your things in order, Mr. Naruhodo. No favoritism there at all. It looks like that huge metal chest being used as a table for tea and coffee. It seems very sturdy with an equally sturdy lock. Mrs. Naruhodo, you mustn't go around opening things. Always have to keep an eye on you, don't I? You're very mischievous. How did you come to that conclusion? Move! Look at all the different things in the window of the shop. Ah, that's Windy Banks, the pawnbroker. It looks much smarter than a pawnbrokers in Japan, doesn't it? Yes, you're right. I find pawn shops at home rather inapproachable, personally. It reminds me of tearfully parting with my favorite fountain pen. I felt so miserable. What doesn't kill us makes us stronger, Mr. Naruhodo. Naruhodo. It's already been 2 months since we started taking lodgings here above Mr. Holmes' office. I still can't quite believe it. I never expected things would turn out this way. Not like this. Oh, I know. To actually be sharing accommodation with the world's greatest detective. If I ever find myself before a court of law now, I will have not one regret. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'd be happy to defend you, of course. So this is a British pawn brokery. Oh my, there's all sorts of tools and contraptions in here that I've never laid eyes on before. Ah, Susato-san. And that spark of wonder in your eyes. You can't wait to scour the shelves, can you? I get the impression you enjoy places like this. Oh yes, I don't know why, but seeing such a lot of things I don't understand is a real thrill for me. My dear fellows, let us not forget why we are here. Oh, Mr. Holmes. We are calling on the matters of business, not pleasure. And clearly Mr. Holmes means business, too, judging from the spark of fury in his eyes. Oh, Mr. Holmes, sir. Welcome back. Did you hear that brazen welcome? Well, yes, we are potential customers after all. We are disgruntled customers, Mr. Naruhodo, and it's time to inform Mr. Windybank of our ire. Come, the fight is afoot. What are you doing, my dear fellows? We're not to browse for interesting curios. We've come to teach this broker a lesson. Oh, there are so many fascinating items. It looks as though we'll have to talk to Mr. Windybank first before you can explore in here, Mr. Sato. Violin. Naturally, you will recall this, which I retrieved from you some days ago. Yes. The second-rate fiddle is not my faithful instrument, Mr. Windybank. The color of the wood is different, it has holes in it, it's not even the same size. A wonderful summary of our observations, Mr. Holmes. I'm so very sorry, sir. How utterly unforgivable of me. An inexcusable mistake for a pawnbroker. There's only one way to make amends. I shall have to take my own life. I don't think that will be necessary, do you? If I may just say one thing before I pop off. This man really said pop off while holding a gun to his own head. Ah, yes? It was you, Mr. Holmes, who took it upon himself to remove the item the other day, I believe. Sorry? As I recall, I entered the storeroom to fetch a violin when I heard, "Ah, here it is." You did? And when I turned to controvert you, you had taken the viola and left, sir. However, there can be no doubt that the blame lies firmly at my own door for allowing you to leave. So I shall not grumble or grouse any longer. May this guilt die with me. No, 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 no. Stop, my dear fellow. The fault was mine. Phew. It appears the fight is over. I do humbly apologize, Mr. Windybank. Evidently, my questionable disposition precipitated this tragedy. I fucking read that too fast at first. Well, you wouldn't be Mr. Sherlock Holmes without that questionable disposition now, would you? Ha ha ha. I do believe you may be right, sir. Ha 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 ha. It's either laugh or cry, I suppose. You are, it must be said, one of my more challenging customers. I need to remind you of a peculiar collection of items you brought through my door in the past. Oh, peculiar items? In the extreme, madam. For example, the unpublished manuscript of an eponymous work, or novels of Sherlock Holmes or some such. Oh my, a new full-fledged novel? And unpublished? A story I have yet to read, you mean? Arg! Forgive me. Wait, before you die, you must tell me more. I must know more. Tell me everything. Wow, Sun is really fired up now. Is there really an unpublished story under this very roof? Well, one day the gentleman here brought in an old metal chest, you see. I would like to entrust this to your care for a while, Mr. Windybank. For a chest like that, 1 shilling, sir, not a farthing more. Houses something of very great value indeed. Latest manuscript, recounting the adventures of one Mr. Sherlock Holmes. I beg your pardon? A manuscript? You wish to deposit a manuscript? Indeed I do, for I am confident it will be quite safe here. And that was that. As such, Mr. Holmes' latest tale of otherworldly mystery lies dormant in my storeroom. Mr. Holmes, is that really true? Do I sense that someone doesn't want to talk about this? I continue to pay your fee, do I not? Then kindly continue to store my belongings securely. Of course, sir, of course. You're safe and sound with me, I assure you, on my life. This is all very strange. I wonder, could I ask you something? Ah, a gentleman from the east, I see. Yes, that sable suit. I suppose I could offer you 6 pence for it. Without wishing to offend, the tone is somewhat dull. I'm sorry? Aha! But for your splendid attire, madam, 5 guineas, no less. The colors are exquisite, the design exotic, Eastern artistry at its finest, may I say. Oh my, 5 guineas, you say? How interesting. Why do I feel as though I've suffered some sort of defeat here? Actually, I was hoping to ask you about your business. I've heard it's said that pawnbrokers are rather like banks here in London. Yes, sir, indeed. Many of my customers utilize the establishment as you described. I appraise their items and offer them a proportionate loan and 2 months of secure stowage. If in that time they repay the original sum to me plus the agreed interest, the items are happily returned. But what happens if they don't pay you the money? Then the items are offered for sale in my shop, as you can see on the shelves behind me. So you never sell items before the 2 months has passed then? That's right, Matt. That's right, which means some considerable responsibility rests on my shoulders. Should a customer's precious belongings be lost, the only recompense is for me to end it all. The very idea of Mr. Windybank is an absurdity. One should never talk of one's demise so casually, says the man who was telling us all it was a good day to die only this morning. And let us not forget that I have already helped you take measures to ensure such a tragedy never occurs. Oh, what sort of measures? I engineered a simple device which Mr. Windybank has installed here in his shop. I call it The red-handed recorder. Is that not so, Mr. Windybank? Ha! What was that deep sigh about? What on earth is a red-handed recorder? Use your eyes, my dear fellow. There are two just below the ceiling. I can see what appears to be a camera attached to some sort of timing device. Very astute. It is indeed a camera furnished with some 100 pieces of celluloid film. And every 30 seconds precisely, the camera automatically records the appearance of the shop. Here, I have an example I can show you. Ah yes, a print from the camera is set to record the activity at the shop counter. I developed a special type of film so sensitive it produces a crystal clear image even in darkness. Really, that's extraordinary. Yes, you can see the counter and the door behind it. Look. So you see, were someone to enter the premises with ill intent, his identity would be summarily exposed. Summarily? I don't know, that sounds weird to say. Summary normally would be summarily exposed, yeah. Summarily. Probably summarily. But did you not say that the photographic prints were taken at 30-minute intervals? Indeed, as you say, my dear ma'am. Then what if an incident were to occur in between times? One could only say that would be a cruel twist of fate. I must confess, your devices have been giving me some cause for distress of late. I beg your pardon, Mr. Windybank. Surely they are anything but distressing. Reassuring is the word. It's the cost of the film, sir. You most graciously placed not one but two cameras in my shop, after all, which means I must pay for nigh 100 utterly useless prints every single day. I'm afraid the cost of film will break me before I'm very much older. Nevertheless, a small price to pay to ensure the safety of my preferred pawnbroker, you know? My dear fellows, we're on the verge of an age where safety and security comes at a price. Oh, heaven help us. Now then, Mr. Holmes, allow me to return your precious violin. Ah, the very thing. Thank you, Mr. Windybank. Perhaps this might mark the end of the peculiar items you try to pop, Because if anything would happen to one of them, this would be the only answer. I really think you ought to stop waving that gun around so someone could get hurt. Fear not. Sorry? I've only loaded a single bullet, so no one but myself could possibly be harmed. That's not really what I meant. Good day to you then, Mr. Windybank. It's been a pleasure as always, Mr. Holmes. So, Mr. Naruhodo, now we can explore at last. Indeed we can. But, like I said, short stream. So I'm ending here, because I might have a dinner thing to do soon. See who's streaming. Actually, I think Ivan's still streaming. Nope, he's not. Oh! Jade is. Let's raid Jade again then. For the people that are lurking, if you want to get yourselves active for a might second, use the raid messages, sub-raid messages. She's playing Horizon Zero Dawn again. Yes, we're raiding her a second times in 2 days. Because she's one of the few streaming right now that I can see. But anyway, for my list of people I want to raid today, I usually have a set list that I look at first and then I go from there. But anyways, y'all go check out her stream. goodbye and good night. I'll see about when I next stream. It might be either Monday or Tuesday, assuming I don't work too much overtime. But anyways, have a good night, y'all.